Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am so excited. You all know my love, Jack Fox. So happy of never a truer word. It's been too long. How are
I
you?
know. It feels like it was like summertime when we last spoke. The snow has fallen in England today, and that really is the changing of the seasons.
I love that. It must be so pretty. I'm just also glad it's you and not me getting snow right now.
It
No,
was
that makes
nothing
me
we couldn't cope
feel
with.
yeah, a lot better. But it is funny. It does feel like summer. I feel like our first couple lives, I'm in like a tank top and I'm just you know, carefree. It's summer. But here we are. We've got Sheila. Hi. I think she's going to wake up Charlotte. Sue, Sal, good to see you guys. So happy you're here. We have a really great discussion ahead of us. So, for those of you unaware of the Courtney Clenney case, I'll just give you a really quick recap. This case centers around the fatal stabbing of Courtney Clenney's boyfriend, Christian Obumseli, on April 3rd, 2022, in their Miami apartment. Courtney Clenney is a 26 or 20, I believe she's 28 now, a 28-year-old OnlyFans and Instagram model, and she has claimed self-defense. She alleges that, she has said she basically flung or threw the knife at her boyfriend. And Jack, I don't know if you saw this, but her defense team actually hung up essentially a slaughtered pig to show that, yeah, it was not great. They were a bit too close to the pig. And also, I mean, the experts on the state side were like, this doesn't even make sense. Like it's different skin. You're too, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all.
I missed that.
Yeah, it's okay that you missed that. It's totally okay.
I'm feeling
Hi,
it. Yeah.
MJ. Yes, and like Sheila said, it wasn't a fair comparison. But listen, they tried, and you got to give them credit for that. They did try. So investigators later discover that there is a history of domestic violence between this couple. I mean, surveillance footage, medical findings, cell phone records, they all seem to kind of point to this really toxic relationship that ended previously. They got back together. And, I want to hear a lot of what you have to say. I just like based on timelines, like the day of timeline, there's certain things where it's like Christian went out to walk the dog. He came home with Subway sandwiches. I don't know how you feel about this and if this means anything, but it doesn't like sure, a vicious, horrible abuser could bring home Subway and walk the dog. It seems like those little things kind of humanize him to a good boyfriend. But I wasn't a part of their relationship. So, I'm not saying she didn't get, but do you kind of agree with that?
Look, let's not spoil the ending here, but Courtney in this police interview, it pings every single red flag I can think of in a police interview. As we'll go through it, and I'll just point them out one by one by one by one. As I always say, I think I can't prove someone is lying, but I can prove there is a lot more going on than she says in this police interview.
Yeah, and I think I forget if some of you guys were in this video or in the screening with Publicly Buzzed, but he was playing some of the body cam footage. So this will be a bit different. But the body cam footage was also crazy because she's like, wait, I have to go to the station now? My house isn't clean. I was going to. And you're just like, that's what you're worried about? That's so strange. I can't quite make sense of that.
Well, she mentions cleanliness a couple of times in this interrogation, which reminded me of Wendy Adelson when she was being interviewed by the police. She spoke about being dirty a lot. Because she, in her words, it was she hadn't had a shower today. She felt dirty. She pointed it out quite a lot. And I do wonder, this is just a wondering here, if there is some guilt going on, if there is some feeling of not having done something good. Is cleanliness a big priority for you at that point?
Wow. That's a great parallel. That makes sense though. There is something to be said about that. She did bring it up a lot and it's really weird, really bizarre. Okay, so tell me where should we start? I have something queued up
Okay.
that we can watch, but you tell me.
So if we go to 2338 on the interrogation, and just as question and answer here.
Okay. Starts a little before. What was it? 23?
23:38.
Okay. There we go.
But you ask questions and I'll answer. You can tell me whatever you want. You can tell me whenever you want. Yeah, we had just gotten back together. I had broken up with him, and then he came back the last like 2 nights, and everything was perfect. And then start like into an argument, and I ended up getting scared, and I think that I overreacted, or not overreacted necessarily, but I reacted, and I just didn't know exactly what might happen. But yeah, we were right before anything happened. We were going to walk my dogs down to this park over by like the Paramount, which has like the beach volleyball and basketball court and all that. We're gonna walk them over there and let my dog Ranger play soccer. That was my plan for the day, and then go.
How old are you?
To the movie. Or to go to a movie tonight in Miami Beach. My dogs are 8 years old.
8 years old.
Okay.
That'll do.
Okay, sorry. It's a little hard to hear, but Jack will break this down.
I'll announce it. So look, I always like giving your audience something to take away. And what the detective does here brilliantly is he asks a very open question. Just tell me whatever you want. Just tell me whatever you want. So he's just left it really wide open. And when we leave it open like that, we're going to hear what it is the person wants to say. And that's going to be very indicative of what's going on in their mind. So when he says, tell me whatever you want, the first thing she says is, yeah, we had just gotten back together. So that is her priority. That's what comes spilling out of her head at whatever we want. So you mentioned they had a breakup. You know, there was a fight. And she says, we've just gotten back together. So for me, whatever happened, whatever they were showing was, you know, the breakup, the argument or whatever led to the breakup was still sensitive on that day. You know, imagine you're there, you've thrown a knife at your boyfriend. Just tell me whatever you want. It was an accident. But no,
so do people not like, just in case, like Sal, I don't know if you're familiar with this case. She literally, that's a great point. She just claimed she flung a knife at her boyfriend in self-defense. But yeah, here we go. She that's the first thing she wants to say. They just got back together. What?
Yeah.
That's bizarre. Bizarre.
And then the red flags keep on coming. So she said, I had broken up with him. Not we had broken up. Not, you know, there'd been a fight and we went our separate ways. I had broken up with him. So she was the instigator of that breakup. Again, nothing wrong with that. If you've got a deadbeat boyfriend, break up with him by all means. But we can tell from the language here of what's going on. She had broken up with him. She was in charge of that breakup. She says, and then he came back like the last 2 nights and everything was perfect. Now, is anything ever perfect? Is everything ever perfect? You know, so she's overplaying that to kind of go, it was idyllic, you know, we had broken up, we'd hated each other's guts a week ago, but now everything was perfect. And then she says, and then we got into an argument. So, and then, when someone says, and then, it's a jump in time. We use it all the time for brevity. So if I told you what I did this morning, I got up, I had a cup of coffee, and then got a shower. I'm cutting out the fact that I wasted 20 minutes on social media or had a conversation with someone about something on the other side of the world that is completely irrelevant. I'm just cutting things out for brevity. Here, I think she's jumping time and then indicates a jump in time, but it's, and then we got into an argument. Well, what was the argument about? How did you get into an argument? Who started the argument? And why are you hiding those things with that? And then, and she says, and I ended up getting scared. Ended up is another jump in time. Ended up means things happened, and finally I got scared. So again, she's hiding these things. Now, if he was the aggressor here, if she was acting in self-defense, if she was frightened for her life, why is she jumping over the things that made the argument happen and got her scared. She's just jumping over those there. So look, we're 3 lines into that one answer, and I'm going, hello, you have a bunch of red flags.
Right. And I think about this. I've never said, oh, it's perfect. This is perfect. If I've ever said that, Jack, I think I've prefaced with something like, this sounds cliche or this sounds crazy, and then I'll say it was perfect, because that word, not to bring us back to Karen Reed, but remember we talked about this, Brian Higgins on the stand, when he was asked, were you telling the truth? And his answer was, I always tell the truth. And you're like, this is not real.
Yeah.
Because like nothing's perfect. No one always tells the truth. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And look, sometimes we use these extremes. We're maybe being a little bit deceptive, but we don't, there's no harm. So if I said, oh, last night was perfect, and actually the taxi was 5 minutes late, or, something like that. It wasn't absolutely perfect, but it wasn't absolutely perfect. It would have been better if the taxi was on time. Here, I think she's trying hard to convince us that, everything was all right.
She's convincing. Yeah.
She continues. And this is a slip on her part, I think. She says, and I think that I overreacted, or not overreacted necessarily, but reacted. So that's an admission coming out there. I overreacted. I did too much. My reaction was over. It was beyond what was there. She says it in her words, and then realizes what she said and says, well, not overreacted necessarily, but reacted.
Yeah.
So again, look, we're now 4 lines in, and I'm going, I've got to tell you, Lauren, I have had such a busy week. You sent me 56 pages of a Word document here, and I went, oh man, I'm up against it. First thing I listened to, I went, oh, actually, this is quite easy, because she is just dropping them one by one by one by one.
Okay, good. And I felt bad because I also took forever to send it to you, because I used this program and it literally was like, 4 hours of transcriptions. That's going to take like 2 days, love. Okay. So I was like, okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know. So thank you for being so good.
Do you know what? It's a very weird life I live, but I listened to a lot of this in the car anyway. Before you sent the transcription, I was that interested in it.
Oh, that's so funny. Do you listen with like your spouse in the car or your kids at all? Or no? Okay.
Kids sometimes, but they have their AirPods in listening to other things. So they must just think Dad's really weird. What's he listening to this crap for?
I know, Sue. Literally, he's such a good sport. Poor Jack, 56 pages of these.
I tell you what, if you want to look at that 56 pages, the amount of meat in it is very small. That's just what a police interrogation is. You know, like when you actually take it down to the important parts. A lot of it is procedure. A lot of it is Miranda rights. A lot of it is some swabbing, and we'll talk about this as well, but she diverts a lot. So there's not a lot in that.
Yeah. And at the beginning, you notice that she's like, can I have some tissues? I've been crying a lot. Bitch, they can see your eyes. I'm sorry. They can see. You don't have to say that.
And then, right after that, it's before, she says, right before anything happened. So she's telling us something happened there. Now we know something's happened, but she's not really going into what the thing that happened is. Why not? Why is she avoiding that? If it was self-defense, if she was in fear of her life, God, she would be getting that out there. Before anything happened, we were going to walk my dogs down to the park, like over by Paramount, which has like the beach, volleyball, basketball court, and all that. Important why. We're going to walk them and then play soccer. That was my plan for the day. Then we were going to go to the movies, or go to a movie tonight at Miami Beach. Now that's 2 things for me. That's resume statements. So that's when someone tries to get across what a good, wholesome person they are. I've got my dogs. Nice. I've got my dogs. We were going to walk them together. We were so together. We were going to walk the dogs together. Look how nice I am. I've got dogs, and nurture them and look after them. But also, it's comfortable things to say. It's really easy things to say. So while all the split in the relationship and the things that she's jumping over cause her stress and are hard things for her to talk about, right here, she's in her comfort zone talking about nice plans for the day. There's no stress in talking about going to the beach and the volleyball courts and the basketball courts and the plan for a movie night. So she's been asked, tell me whatever you want. She's gone into this, look what a nice person I am, and look at all the plans that we had. Really easy for her to talk about.
And she does seem very hung up. And again, this is body cam footage and interviews, very hung up on her day and her plans. I've honestly never seen anything like it. Do you think that's a form of trying to stay in control or something, like really
Yeah.
trying to hang on to your normal, ordinary day.
There's a lot of instances of control in her language, like that one of "I broke up with him." That she is the instigator of things here. But look, looking at something else that she said, just not a very nice person either. She's
Yeah.
asked by the detective, "What's his mom's name?" And she says, "You know, he told me. I think I'm terrible. I really don't. I feel like I'm remembering names. I met her multiple times. I've been to her house. Still didn't tell you. That's pretty bad."
I
So
didn't catch that. I'm shook. Are you kidding?
she cannot remember his mom's name, which when she was with this guy for 2 years is surprising. Some of us are terrible at names. I'm not great with names myself, but people like that, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. You've been at her house. You've met her a bunch of times. Wait, I completely missed this. And that oh my gosh, this girl is narcissistic to the third degree. This
Yeah.
is not, yeah, wow. Okay.
Let me build a bit more on that. She is asked, what does he do for a living? And she says, stocks and crypto, stocks and crypto. He just has stocks and bonds and crypto. He's pretty good with numbers and all that. And yeah, he's done that for since, I mean, as far as I know, he's done it since I was 19. He's 27. He's pretty damn good at it. That's my guess compared to other people that do it. Yeah. So again, this guy seems to have been on the periphery of her thoughts. She doesn't know what he does for a living beyond stocks and crypto. And my guess is he's pretty good at it, or his mom's name.
So I obviously saw, what the stocks and crypto, but gosh, I think I'm just processing. You really don't. And also, I'm sorry, and women, men in the chat, when you care about someone, you meet their mom, you're doing everything that you can to impress them, at least at first, before they're your mother-in-law, let's say, then you're comfortable, whatever. But like at first, you want to do things for them. You want to have something in common with them. This is just not, I don't know Clenney's history, but she must be, and this is going to sound horrible. This is nothing against only children. I know so many lovely only children out there, like, so many, but she has to be an only child where her parents told her she was God's gift to the world, right? I mean,
I don't believe she is. There's a part somewhere where she mentions her siblings in Austin or something like that.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah.
Just kidding.
I think so. It might be his siblings, but she does mention some siblings.
Okay.
There's just a little classic before we get into the real meat of what happened.
Yeah.
Where the detective says, "Do you guys work here in Miami, or do you guys have your own business?" And she goes, "I do social media, so I'm an influencer. I guess is what we call it, an influencer." And he says, "Oh, what do you focus on, Instagram or social media apps?" And she goes, "Instagram," and then says, "OnlyFans." Okay, so yeah. So
yeah,
she's
I
a little bit.
I didn't get that. What is she saying?
She's saying it's I guess it's the impolite company in a bar. If you were introduced to someone, what do you do for a living? You might say, "I work in social media," before going, "I'm an OnlyFans girl, I'm an OnlyFans model." But she kind of realizes she has to cough up, but she tries really hard not to do it. So she's in social media. She's an influencer. Well, she's not an influencer, is she? I'm on Instagram and OnlyFans. Okay, so yeah, which is just embarrassment at saying that. And then she says, this is brilliant. She says it pays the bills, which is that sort of justification for doing that that kind of work. I'm not judging anyone that does that kind of work. I'm looking at her viewpoint on it. And then when she said pays the bills, she gives them her name on OnlyFans, like they might want to check it out. So she's like,
the Courtney, that's her Instagram too. And I showed, just side note, I showed my husband her Instagram last night. Have you looked at it, by the way?
No, I'm frightened to Google Courtney Clenney.
Well, what's really funny is that if you look up her Instagram, she's 1.9 million followers. And for me, it'll say like mutual friends, mutual followers. I can tell the people that followed her after this whole thing happened, because obviously of the crime and the, all of the news. And I can totally tell the people that followed her before. Like, just like who really just followed her, my husband wasn't one of them. But yeah, no. And so Sal, wait, no, I want to just clarify that I was not saying that. I was not. I actually meant that for the parents who make their only children seem like they can do no wrong and just don't do them any favors by disciplining them or, whatever. I knew I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. MJ, please know that I didn't mean that. You guys, hopefully you know me by now. I just talk, and I had a point to that. But anyway, so yes, continue.
Oh, she has a sister.
Okay.
By the way, so just to mitigate all of that, she is not an only child. So there's the only childrenism is not an excuse here.
Okay.
I'm not then going to break down some of the things that happened, but we saw when she was asked, tell us whatever you want, and she spoke in very general terms and not about the incident. It's very telling that the detective keeps trying to say to her, look, you're here because we want to know what happened. And she diverts away from that. She talks about wanting to phone her dad, who's not a lawyer, but might act as a lawyer or something like that. Then she asks, would she be able to go to the hospital to see the boyfriend? Then she asks about the well-being of the dogs. So she is avoiding that subject entirely. So, great tips. Ask what happened in general, and then just watch for when you start, and they're not going in hard. They're not going, we need to know what happened last night. And she's going, but I just want to go to the hospital. They're just subtly going, if we find out what happened and we can clear this all up, then you can go to the hospital. And she goes, yeah, I need to look after the dogs too. So it's
weird. The dogs, like, I get it though. I get it. People do. I say people, because I'm not a pet owner. I have some goldfish, but the pets are treated like people sometimes. But in this case, I do feel like she's using them as a crutch this entire time. And if she didn't have them, what would she use? What would she say?
Yeah, there would be other things I think that she would bring up. So let's get into the meat of it, where the detective says to her, so let's start from the start. You guys were supposed to take out your dogs to the park, right? And what happened after that? So this is just classic avoidance still, but she'll get there. She said, like I said, a little bit simpler. I was doing laundry and watching a Christine and Randall, or listening to a Christine and Randall video, and tried to call my mom. She didn't answer the first time. And then he came back with a Subway sandwich before he left. What's this got to do with anything? Like, really?
I know.
Then we've got controlling language. He recited exactly what I wanted. And I said, I'll text what I want to you. And he said, I know what you want. And I said, no, you don't. And he recited it to me, relaxed, and he got it perfectly right. Now, I don't know whether that's the order for the sandwich or whether this is some way that she wanted to be treated. It's hard to tell, but it's controlling. It's what I wanted. And the fact she didn't even trust him to know what she wanted, or even remember, because she felt like she had to text it there. Not an easygoing person. Not some. So if this is a sandwich order, then it's not, oh, well, what I like, or will you get me some salad? I don't want any meat. Just get me a salad sandwich. None of that went on whatsoever. Then she just takes another long diversion, and then he left. I guess he went to go bike over there. That's what he said. I don't know if he walked or biked, but he told me he was getting a bike or a bicycle.
Yeah, I know.
Who cares?
I know. Get to it, lady.
Okay, he came back and I said something like, oh, are you going to reshare your location with me like you would share it? And he said, yeah, I can share it. And I was like, oh, when did you do that? And he goes, the other day, like when you're done with me. And so I think this is about that classic 21st century breakup thing where you break up with someone and you stop sharing your location on your phone with them. So she wanted him to reshare his location. And then it goes, and I was like, okay, fair enough, reshare it. He told me, I mean, they're kind of turned into like an argument or something. So she's minimizing here with like, kinda, and actually that becomes an argument. So from what I can read in that, there's a huge argument about something, location sharing, it sounds like was the instigator, but she's not going into the detail here whatsoever. Why is that?
Right.
You know,
Right.
why is that? If just, supposing that he got really aggressive because she refused to share her location data, that's a very easy thing to say. I was not comfortable sharing my location data with him. I didn't want him knowing where I was all the time, and he got mad. She doesn't say that.
So far, I have not heard one thing, and I know that we're well into this interview. It's 4 hours, like you said. There's a lot of waiting around, observing of Courtney, but so far, I have not heard one thing about Christian acting aggressive, angry, mad. She has not said one thing about that at all, knowing that he is bloody and hurt at this point. So yeah.
Yeah, well, here's a perfect example of that. And then he just told me to reshare mine. And I was like, okay, I will. And then I didn't do it immediately. He asked me about it again. So he asked me about it. It's not he yelled at me about it or this did not make him happy. From her own words there, it was like, will you share your location with me? Yeah, sure. Why haven't you shared your location with me? Or are you going to share your location with me? That's what asking is. That's not yelling.
Right. Yep.
And then she says, and I don't know what I was thinking, but I just said, so we've got just, which is a minimizer. So when she says just, I know something tiny is going to appear in her words. That was a much bigger thing. And I just said something about, well, what if I'm somewhere you don't want me to be? So it's leaking out.
Yeah, here we go. Now she's being truthful, in my opinion.
Yes.
In a different way, but yeah.
Right after that, she tries to roll back. So she says, I just said something about what if I'm somewhere you don't want me to be? Okay, which I wouldn't have been.
Oh, exactly. Right. Not that I would have been at all, but
yeah, the thought didn't cross my mind that I might be somewhere he doesn't want me to be. I just mentioned it for what? So I think we're starting to see here, and she's under stress. It's a police interview. Something very serious has happened, and that is when, when you're under stress, things are running through your mind all the time. If you're like a computer, it's overloaded, and the bit of your brain that is thinking about what words to send out of your mouth is sometimes not working. When I say the best, it's on autopilot. So it's just saying what happened. So when she's trying to tell this very curated story of what happened, at times the words come out that she doesn't really mean to come out, like there, where she says, so I just said, what if I'm somewhere you don't want me to be? Which is a really provocative thing to say to a boyfriend that you've just got back together again with.
I know.
Any boyfriend, to be honest, but specifically there, just like when she said, and I overreacted. Actually, I didn't overreact. So I just don't think this is a good person.
Do you think she was getting comfortable when she said that, and then she realized she was too comfortable or something? Because that's forthcoming. Yeah, before
that's entirely possible. Lying is really hard. Like physically, energetically, lying takes up more calories than telling the truth. So it's tiring.
Wow.
It's our brain is just working 10 times extra when we're lying, and therefore it's really hard, especially in a pressured situation, to keep up a lie for a long time. Like an easy white lie is dead easy to tell. Yeah, that color suits you. And you move on and do something else. But, just think about if you said, yeah, that color suits you. And someone says, do you think so? Because you've said before, orange isn't really my color. And then you have to go, oh, Christ, did I say that? And,
that's what MJ's going to start doing that right now. New diet technique. Same here.
Right. Okay. We're copywriting it right now. The Liet diet. Okay.
I love it. Oh, babe, that color looks so good on you. You should always wear that jacket. It brings out the blah.
Feel the calories come off.
I'm gonna say 10 calories right there. Okay. Well, you mentioned another soundbite, 4419, I believe.
Oh, sorry, that's where we were. That's what we were looking at.
We're there. That's okay. It's hard to understand. I can play just a clip of that really quick because it is.
I tell you what, why do you want to go to 4628? Because this is her actually talking about the incident.
Okay, 4628.
And I apologize for setting you up for a clip that I didn't use.
No, are you kidding me? All good. And because like I said, it's kind of hard to it's hard to understand her. So I'll play this for just a minute.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you speak about it because that's more interesting.
Wouldn't have been. I love him, but just like, maybe you don't want to know where I am. I guess maybe they'll just like hurt him because he was pressing me, and he ended up pinning me against the wall. And then, I mean, I said like choking me on the floor. It's just like they were looking at my neck, and I was like, I mean, I'm not saying like choking me like, whatever, but I mean, he had my like neck, and this happened twice before, where I couldn't breathe and I was on the floor. Yeah. I could not breathe, and I don't think that he was trying to kill me, but I was scared, and all 3 times I have been scared. So yeah, I'm on the floor in heavy pins and lets me up. I'm on the get my mom on the phone, and I'm just trying to really remember. Hey, my mom on the phone, and I remember she was standing like against the couch, like we were obviously it was a big deal at this point. So this happened like over by the door, and somehow moved like over in the living room. We were standing by the couch, facing toward the kitchen. I was in the kitchen, and then he just like I could see like all the whites in his eyes. He was like coming at me, and so I grabbed one of these knives. My mom got me for Christmas. I grabbed one of them, and I was like, I swear to God. I swear to God. It was just like, I mean, I grab and be like, don't come anywhere closer to me. Because earlier, I was having 2 other times I couldn't fucking breathe. I'm sorry. I couldn't breathe. And it's very scary. And I just think like, just like this kind of thing where I was saying like, do you know if he's okay? If he's choking me and he's angry enough, he might this is different, I think. But if he's like choking me or like pinning me or something and I can't breathe, he might go too long. So I grab a knife and I said, don't come anywhere closer to me. I had absolutely no intention of using it. I'm on the phone with my mom and he's coming at me like he's gonna grab either the phone or like the knife or something. And so I was just like, I was like, don't come any closer. Coming at me, and I threw it. And I meant for it to go.
How far away was he?
Stop there.
Okay. Wow. Sorry.
So I was by my.
I'm sorry. Who was it? Sheila said her acting is superb. See, I disagree. I did not think her acting was good at all. When she's like, I was just really scared. I'm like, that's not what scared sounds like to me, but that's, I don't know. What do I know?
There are 3 real big tells of storytelling there in all of that. She uses 2 that we've looked at before. So and we ended up. So there's a jump in time. So, we ended up on the floor. She's skipping out how all that happened. There's the and then as well, which is, again, jumping over time. And then she has this and so construction of telling the story. So it's and this happened, so that happened, and this happened, so that happened. And if you spot that and so pattern, someone's explaining events to you. They're not just retelling events to you. Now, why would that be? Lots of reasons, but right here, she's telling us why she did things. The other big tell in this is that I was talking about, if I relayed my morning to you, I would tell you event 1, event 2, event 3, event 4, event 5. She goes event 1, event 2, event 3, event 2, because she grabs the knife twice in that story. And she grabbed them. She makes sure to tell us that they were the knives that Mom got me for Christmas, which is a very interesting bit of detail that, look, we were going to do you for murder, but actually because it was the knives your mom got you for Christmas, which is quite a nice thing, then we're going to go easy on you. And tells us twice that she didn't intend using them. Now, That's an interesting one. That's a statement in the negative. So she's telling
Yeah.
us what she wasn't doing, not what she was doing.
Right,
And
right.
quite often when someone tells us what they weren't doing, they actually were doing that.
Yep.
She didn't say, if you were going to state that in the positive, I grabbed the knife to scare him off, or to defend myself if need be. You know, she didn't say anything positive like that. She said, I picked it up. I didn't intend to use it. Did you? Did you not? And then the other thing, which is very interesting, was she changed a pronoun. I don't know if you noticed it, but she said, I'm just trying to find the right bit in the transcript.
Yeah.
She said, so I grabbed a knife. So she's got my knife. And she says twice, it's my knife. And again, realizes that ain't good words. My knife.
Not
And she
good.
changes it to
Not
my
good.
knife.
Not good. Not good. Boy.
If I went to my kitchen downstairs, I could grab a
A
knife.
knife. Yeah.
I don't have a knife. There are just knives in my kitchen. So that gets me wondering, like, why does she refer to it as my knife?
Yeah. Yep.
Has she used it before? Has she threatened him with it before? Has she thrown it at him before and meant to miss, but to scare the hell out of him? But she refers to it as my knife. Also, she screws up about the mom thing. So she says, I was on the phone to my mom. I mean, trying to phone my mom. So it was like, what was going on there as well? Every time she talks, it's just red flag city.
Yep. I totally agree. And, the knife thing, it is interesting because I just started looking into this case. So I don't know the exact details of this knife, whether it actually is, because look, I do have like a pocket knife in my purse that I keep. And, I live in Manhattan. Why not? But if I'm at home, I am probably going to grab a knife out of the kitchen, which would be a knife, not my knife. So I am curious about this. If it is, you know what I mean? Like her personal knife, because if it's not, that's weird. That's super weird.
Are you familiar with the Ellen Greenberg case? In that 911 call from her fiance, he says she has stabbed herself with her knife. And it's another case of someone owning a knife, which conceptually is, for it to be her knife, she must have been holding it at some point. I mean, unless they have some strange domestic arrangement where they have his and hers knives or something like that. But he refers to it as her knife. He gave her ownership of the knife, which in that call always got me as, why did he not say there is a knife in her body? But instead it was her knife. Her knife is in her body, or she must have stabbed herself with her knife. Straight there, she says twice, my knife. She has ownership of that. So yeah, Courtney, not liking you very much at all.
Nope. So I mean, in your professional opinion, she's withholding information, let's say, to start.
Yeah, this is a constructed story. And when we look at the constructions, I'd say she's missing things out. Why is that? There is no mention of aggression. She does say he was pinning me to the wall, he was choking me, but nothing leading up to that in terms of aggression at all. So I wonder what it is that she's leaving out. She doesn't ever say how they got into these physical situations around the choking or the pinning against the wall. And I don't know about you, but I found it quite hard to picture the action that she was describing. And quite often when someone is talking, if you can't picture what they're describing, it's because they haven't used very good language to draw that picture in your mind. I've got a park outside this window. At the moment, there's lots of green grass showing through, but patches of snow still on the ground, right? Not everyone, because some people can't picture things mentally, I found out last week. But yes, everyone can imagine what green grass looks with patches of snow on it. Which is quite, I've got the authentic language because I looked out and saw it earlier, so I can describe that. If I wanted to talk about what the surface of Mars was like, It's kind of rocky,
Right.
red,
Right.
gray rocks. I don't know what,
Mhm.
the rocky, just rocky.
Yeah.
Oh, what does that look like?
Yeah. 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 No, I tend to think that she I mean, look, we know now just from it's been 2 years. If you've been paying attention to some of the pretrial hearings, I mean, you'll see this was fabricated. I mean, it was. Most of it was because clearly they got in a horrific altercation which ended up with somebody dying.
Yeah.
I mean that, like, think about it. If in order for you to die from a stab wound, it's got to be deep. It's got to be plunged in there with vengeance. I mean, I feel like, movies are so fake. You don't just fall on a knife, right? You don't just fall on it and it kills you. Somebody has to viciously stab you with it. And Courtney, she did. I have to say, allegedly, she allegedly did. This just doesn't fly for me at all.
No, look, we've got storytelling in the extreme now. Why would that be? Why, if you were acting in self-defense, would you be telling a story? And it's a provable story because we can see jumps in time, we can see contradictions. But we saw in the build-up, she was avoiding talking about events as well. Again,
Yeah,
why would that be? It could
right.
be a traumatic thing, but she doesn't say, "Oh, I can't remember," or "I don't want to talk about it." She tries to divert and go away from it. And also, we've got all this stuff here that just suggests she's not a very nice person, doesn't know the boyfriend's mother's name, doesn't really know what he does for a living. So yeah,
That's
this
not me.
is
I am not cool with that. Jack, that was such great insight. Like, she doesn't know her boyfriend's mom's name or what he does for a living, and they've been together for 2 years.
yeah, says stocks and crypto and stuff, I guess.
I mean, talk about not giving a crap about your other half. I'm sorry. All of this, it just shows me that she really thought he was disposable. I mean,
Yeah,
right? I know alleged, but still.
yeah. And as well, then we've got the mention that she refused to share location. Why? Because I might be somewhere you don't like. Again, this is not a nice person. Now that doesn't deserve you being choked or pinned against the wall. But these are not the actions of a nice person. There's another
Right.
part in it where he said to me, he said, "Why don't you find one of those effing guys in Dubai?" Because I said something about that when I broke up with him a week ago out of anger. So she's admitting she's an angry person and that this relationship has caused her to feel anger. None of it is all guilty proof. Let's not skip the jury and just go with what we're talking about right here. But
Right.
I've got nothing that comes up
Yep.
is reassuring in this whatsoever.
Just putting her face up there, her face up there again. I think that looking at her Instagram specifically, and I understand this is a profession, but there's got to be some kind of study. And this is not me judging. Are you kidding me? I'm so not judging. I'm jealous a little bit that you can just take pictures of yourself and make a ton of money and travel to Tulum and all these gorgeous places based on just showing your ass in a photo. And like, so there is something to be said though about maybe women, some women like this, because she does seem to say things like, I pretty much could get any guy I want. You're lucky to be with me. She has that attitude like she's better and he's not good enough. And that has just come through completely in her statements to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So,
definitely very self-obsessed, self-absorbed. She in fact she mentions anything outside of her and her dogs is beyond her
yeah,
comprehension.
yeah. Yeah,
Really.
you're right. And just an update on this case, I believe at this point they are waiting for the prosecution to recuse themselves, the specific prosecutor and DA's office from this case because of the arrest of her parents and the hacking. So they're trying to get a new county and DA on this case, and so it's just such a mess. But they did drop the charges against her parents. So I thought that was interesting. Her parents definitely seem to have blinders on, but I can't fault them. I mean, it's their child. I guess you would do what you got to do for your child, right? To
Yeah.
agree, but Dizzy, did a judge deny that? I don't know. I felt like he just denied her bond the other day, but I think I saw something on Court TV where they're waiting until the end of the month or something for the state to recuse themselves. But I'll look that up to be perfectly clear on that. So, okay, let's put a pin. Let's put a quick pin in Courtney Clenney here. And let's go to Jamie Foxx and this guy. Okay, thank you so much. Dizzy's going to check for me right now on the state. Okay.
Well, this is like it's live.
I know, right? No, let's get into this for a minute. So we all know there's a lot going on with Diddy right now, but Jamie Foxx has a new stand-up special coming to Netflix on December 10th, and it's called What Had Happened Was. And if everybody recalls, Jamie Foxx was hospitalized in 2023. And if you remember, I can get this picture. He did not look like himself when he was hospitalized. This was the craziest thing. Let me share this. It's like, I just found it on a meme, but I mean, that's what he looked like. It was serious. I mean, I remember thinking that this was a clone. I don't know, Jack, if you saw this, but
the first time I saw it was when you sent me it over the weekend. I wondered if you got your cropping wrong or something like that, because it looks like it's been stretched.
Well, right. So that is where I think a lot of us were like, is this AI? But he posted that picture of himself on the right. That was from his social media. So yeah, it was alarming. So he did this taping, and there was 3 different people that witnessed this taping of this comedy special, and some are claiming that Jamie Foxx said that Diddy was responsible for the 2023 hospitalization and that he's the one that called the FBI on Diddy. And again, then you have people who saw the same exact taping who said, no, he didn't say that. It was totally a joke. It was totally a joke. So I sent Jack some witness statements. And I say witness statements. These are the people that watched this. And I mean, I don't know what to think. I also sent Jack it was a clip, and I can play it, of like a TMZ type of company media outlet asking Jamie Foxx directly about this. Was Diddy involved? Did Diddy do something to you? And he just laughs and he pumps his gas, and he just does. What does it say? Have God bless you, or have it? I'll play it, but it's strange. And here, just to Dizzy, I mean, we all want to know.
Yeah.
And reaction to plastic surgery. I don't know. I mean, he did look so different, but he was very sick apparently. So we don't know what happened yet. But Jack, what do you make of these witnesses and what their statements were to the press about this?
Oh, sorry, but it's a whole lot of nothing.
Okay.
That's to say, I don't know what's in the stand-up special, but even then I would say it's a stand-up special. So is it just going to be a whole load of jokes, cashing in on the stories, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to be honest, I thought Jamie Foxx was an actor and not a stand-up comic. I thought he only acted. So I didn't even know he was a stand-up, but I want to see this because I want to know what happened. So it's great marketing. But there was a guy, Choke, who he uses really vague phrases like, I don't think he was joking. So he could have been. He might not. There's no certainty in that whatsoever. And then he says, y'all can determine whether was he joking or not when you see the show. So again, he's not committing to anything, this guy, at all. Now, this guy was supposed to be at 2 of the 3 recordings or something like that. And he's just throwing out really vague phrases there. He says, I'm a new comedian, right? I know when somebody's setting up a punchline, and I know when they're serious. But he doesn't go on to say, and this was serious. Do you know what I mean? You're like, he's talking in very vague terms and says that he doesn't. And this is a great. So he says, I don't think he was joking. I know when someone's setting up a punchline, i.e. joking, and when someone's serious. And then he says, I don't want to give away Foxy's jokes. So he's kind of, so my take on that, if I had to like put my neck on the line, is that this special will leave us asking as many questions as it answers. Like, so Jamie Foxx will come up and give this story, and we'll all be talking about it afterwards going, do you think that was true, or was that just a joke, or did he mean that? I think potentially that's what's going to happen here. Because let's be honest, if Diddy did cause severe illness or near death in Jamie Foxx, a stand-up special is probably not the best way to relate that story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess then we have all been, I shouldn't say we, because you haven't clearly, but people like me, we've been duped because I have a calendar. I have my calendar marked to watch this special because I want to know what happened because of these articles and this publicity around it. I mean, I didn't think I was that dumb and gullible, but maybe I am.
Well, here's some more words. Choke says, Fox said, Diddy did something to me.
That's it.
Yeah. So I listened to one of his songs once. I guess you could say Diddy did something to me, but it's not exactly Lambian Hospital. So it's everything this guy has to say is just really vague about what happened. And I think that that's it'll be genius, because people will watch the Netflix special and some people will think he's being very serious and some people just think he's joking about and creating a laugh, and we'll all talk about it, and then more folk will watch the Netflix special and Jamie Foxx will just become the subject of conversation. Great business for the guy is what I think will happen there. So yeah, I don't think there's very much in it.
Let me add this. Okay. So to the point of me being gullible, I also heard, and you guys know that I have an entertainment background. I've met a lot of people, and I still talk to a lot of those people and have them as sources. There was an actor that I spoke to, and he DM'd me on a social media platform, and I'll just really quick. He did DM me and he said, I want to know your thoughts on Jamie Foxx and Diddy. And I was like, no. I want to know your thoughts. Like, don't ask me my thoughts. I want to know yours. And he said, I'll be honest with you. I heard about this before the special. And before, it was maybe around the time that Cassie's lawsuit came out, people were talking about this. It just didn't get out yet. So he said, I have no proof. I have no, but I heard about this in Hollywood. He lives in LA. So, take that for what it is. But I want to read this last part to you, or basically the last statement that I found. The other person that claims that he was joking said, people keep asking me if Diddy was responsible. He was not responsible. If he was, I would have been dead. That's what this person claims that Jamie Foxx said. What do you think of that statement?
That is, so if that was a verbatim quote from Fox at the stand-up.
Let's say it was,
just imagine that with two different types of delivery. People keep asking me if Diddy was responsible. He was not responsible. If he was, I'd be dead. Or imagine that with dramatic pauses and lots of energy. People keep asking me if Diddy was responsible. He was not responsible, because let me tell you, if he was, I'd be dead. All of a sudden, it's a joke. And if the build up to it is what a shitty guy Diddy is, then it just becomes funnier and funnier and funnier.
But are we joking about things? Is he going to joke about that? If this was filmed in October, knowing that Diddy's already arrested, he's facing life in prison, is he going to joke about that? I think we have to wonder, right?
Well, I think you'd have to say that, having admitted, I don't know if didn't know he was a stand-up comic until this weekend, then my what Jamie Foxx jokes about is not my specialist subject. But I think we have to wait to see the special, to see what comes out, because I don't think a stand-up special is the place where you are going to reveal your biggest and darkest secrets. I think you'd save that for a documentary, the old school Oprah interview or something like that.
Yeah.
That's where you would do that kind of thing.
Well, unless this has more money behind it. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, though, at this point, it's like, I'm thinking about, this is obviously much different, but the Tyson-Jake Paul fight, there are rumors that it was all set up, and there was a part, or not a part, but during the fight, you know, and Tyson made $20 million or something like that. But there was a part at the beginning, he's, you know, Tyson's going ham on him. He's doing his whole thing. And they kind of get close like this. And it looked like Jake Paul was whispering something to him, something along the lines of like, do you want to get paid or not? And Tyson back like, oh yeah, I do. So at this point, I don't put anything past people to make money, especially people in Hollywood, right? And these people. So you're right. An Oprah interview or, you know, someone else would be better. But this, I mean, that's that Netflix money, man. That could be you know, he wants to, I don't know.
Well, you know, if anyone's watching in Hollywood and wants an agent, my idea here might be worth nicking. So if I was him, I'd take the Netflix money to do a stand-up special, which, regardless of the Diddy rumors, would be worth a lot anyway, because he was ill and disappeared from public life and then has come back. I would then do my stand-up special and joke about Diddy, but not quite tell the truth about Diddy, get people talking about it so that raises my value further, and then decide to take the Netflix money again for a big interview show where you talk about what happened, only if there is something to tell, because it's going to be a dreadful reveal if he's like, no, I caught a viral cold and it didn't go away for ages. I lost a whole load of weight and was in my bed for 6 months feeling terrible.
Yeah, I feel, no, I'm confused. And I want to play this. I know you're not a body language expert, but I do want to play this clip really quick, just because, you know, I did find it interesting, the laughing and the joking, which made it very casual, because like you said, if this is where I go back and forth, if it was true, what, I don't know, wouldn't you just have PTSD over it? I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'll play this really quick. It's under a minute.
This whole P. Diddy thing about the rumors that are just online are just crazy. I was wondering if you could just clear it up for the fans. And
God bless you.
How are you feeling though?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling better.
Is the poisoning rumors true or not? I know it's kind of crazy, right?
Okay, so I mean, I'm just gonna go back to. I have to just go back to his face here. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think of that video?
So he fixed a grin on his face, which would suggest to me that he's not happy at all. You know, doing the opposite of what's going on. It was like, there's Diddy stuff, and he just went kind of like smile, because then the pictures will catch you smiling. He did seem to be going to pump gas, but didn't do it. Am I right? You know, did he just sort of walk away there?
Wait, now I got to play this again. You're so good. I'm going to turn the volume off and just play it while you speak, if you don't mind.
Yeah, not at all.
This is why you're such a professional, and I just watched the video like.
Let's see. So
is he pumping?
He's at the pump. He gets the, I don't know what, the nozzle. That's what you call it. He gets the nozzle.
Sometimes we leave it in our car, right? And we go sit.
But he goes to put it in.
Oh, what?
And then he turns around and puts it back up. By this time, he's been asked the question. He puts the smile on his face, says, God bless you, which means nothing.
Yeah.
And gets in and drives off.
Didn't he pay for the gas?
I don't think he got any gas.
Yeah, but like he paid for it. We saw him pay for it. That is so strange. Wow. That is a really good point. He literally paid for the gas, went to, I didn't even catch that. Again, I thought when I get gas, I'll leave it in there and sit in my car sometimes, you know, whatever. But that is so interesting. Wait, now I'm thinking he didn't want to talk about it, Jack.
Yeah. We all know how long it takes to fill up a tank, yeah? So was that computation going on in his head of, if I'm filling this up, I am going to have to stand here for a long time, not dealing with this thing that I don't want to talk about.
I am like, okay, that's really interesting. So this just kicked it up a notch, okay? I'm sorry, this did. maybe he has a deal with Netflix where they said, you're going to disclose this here and nowhere else. And then I don't know, we're going to market it around this. I feel like the heavy marketing plan for this special hasn't even dropped yet because we're still, over a month out. But that is super interesting. Like,
just going to something that I do have knowledge of, which is the wording, and I can't remember the exact words, but he was asked, are you better? And he says, much better, or something like that, which is maybe not very much, but that is a confirmation that he wasn't well and is now better, it wasn't just a sabbatical where he decided to, go and hide from the world for 6 months just to have a break. There is an admission that he wasn't well. That certainly he's saying he's better now. So there was something up with him. We could then go. I don't have time to do it, I'm afraid, but we could go and look and see if there's any evidence of plastic surgery as well in that video, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, the plastic surgery thing is interesting. I think a lot of us just pulling it up again, looking at this photo, Jack, we're not doctors, but it's not, when you lose weight, your head doesn't become elongated, does it? I mean, I don't know. This could be an interesting episode to get some kind of plastic surgeon or doctor on, but it's bizarre. He's so pale, to the point. He looks like a different race to me.
Yeah, I would say as well, God, this is really not my area of expertise, but does his chin look like there's excess skin there where, he was a little bit chubbier and has lost weight and the skin hasn't retracted back yet?
Yeah. Very,
this is really outside my area of expertise.
No, I obviously same here. I'm beyond. I'm just like, well, so I just also want to ask you, because I brought this up to you yesterday really quick, but and guys, this is still very Diddy centered here, but let me share this tab just to get the picture up. So Diddy and Tupac, there's a lot going on right now with Diddy. And we can go back to Jamie Foxx if you want, whatever. And I know you probably have to move on with your day, but I've been researching a lot about the 1994 shooting at the Quad. And Tupac, if you're not aware, he was shot at this New York City recording studio 5 times. He accidentally shot himself during this whole scuffle as well. And he had a $40,000 medallion stolen right off of his body. And there are rumors that Puffy at the time was responsible or knew about it ahead of time. And it was mainly Puffy. I think Biggie gets dragged into it because he was like his main artist, whatever. But this all stemmed from possibly Tupac not switching from Interscope Records to Bad Boy. That was seen as a sign of disrespect, blah, blah, blah. So Jack, in 2008, the LA Times put out this story based on these unsealed documents from the FBI. And it became this whole big story. But really, the documents were forged by this guy, Jimmy Sabatino. He's a Gambino crime family member. He was in prison when he forged these documents, but he was boys with Diddy. He knew Tupac, and he was there that day, or had knowledge, along with Jimmy the henchman, who's now all of this is such a tangled web. The henchman is in prison, claims Trump pardoned him in 2021. He's not getting pardoned. Insane. But anyway, when this surfaced from the LA Times in 2008, Diddy made a statement. And let me read you that statement just so you can break it down. It says, "This story is a lie. It is beyond ridiculous and is completely false. Neither Biggie nor I had any knowledge of any attack before, during, or after it happened." It doesn't sound that bad, but what do you make of that statement?
Well, I feel really safe saying this. This statement's a lie. Seeing as he's in prison, I'll just come right out there and say it. So this story is beyond ridiculous and completely false. So that's trying too hard. Story's ridiculous and false, but no, it's beyond ridiculous. It's not just ridiculous, it's beyond ridiculous. It's not just false, it's completely false. Look, something's either true or false, it's quite binary there. So thank you, Sheila. That's a great comment. So he's trying too hard.
Sal,
And
yeah.
then he says, neither Biggie nor I had any knowledge of any attack before, during, or after it happened. But you're talking about it right now, so you have knowledge of it after it happened, at the very least. So you're lying. You're again going to this ridiculous place to paint your innocence. It is after the attack. You are talking about it, so you do have knowledge of it. So why would we take anything else you have to say at face value? But notice what he says. He doesn't say that attack. He says any knowledge of any attack.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. Oh my gosh, I did not even catch that. Okay.
So it's just that it is. Look, again, it's not proof that he was involved in it, but it's as a statement, it is worth nothing. Neither Biggie nor I had any knowledge of any attack before, during, or after it happened. And with some logic, but also with just actually looking at the words, we can see that statement is worth nothing. It can't be true. It really can't be true. So what is the truth, Diddy?
Right. And I want to point out that the 1995 song Who Shot Ya by Biggie, the closing line in that song is, "You rewind this, bad boys behind this." I mean, and the song is called Who Shot Ya? Like that, we all know that it's about Tupac, and he essentially admitted it. So I don't know why we're arguing over whether or not they knew they were involved. I think that tells us right there. But I guess you can send Jeffrey Williams to trial over his lyrics and stuff like this, and we're pulling this shit, but we can't nab somebody on this lyric. It's just annoying to me. I guess I can't make sense of it,
Well, there's let me give a quick plug on Never a Truer Word videos on YouTube. I do break down Diddy talking in the sort of late 90s, early noughties about his parties, and then we go on to how he deals with the allegations around his involvement in some of these big deaths, basically. Nothing there reassures me around it whatsoever. It's very similar to what we've seen here, where he shuts the conversation down in just a over extreme sort of way, and just goes, not talking about that. Completely false, ridiculous, beyond ridiculous.
Yeah. I feel like if you ever wanted to, you could advertise your services as crisis PR. And I'm not even making a joke. Like, I'm really not. I guess I don't understand why PR people don't study statement analysis, why that's not part of their job, because most of their job is creating statements for these people to fix their issues and to mitigate issues.
Yeah, it's my take on it. By the way, I met someone who does crisis PR a couple of months ago, and that is an insanely complex job. Complex job.
Yeah.
But my take on it is that when we lie, I tend to notice it because people overdo the lie. But when someone's telling the truth, they tend to tell the truth quite straightforwardly. But we're not taught to lie. No one ever sits us down at lying school and says, this is how you tell a credible lie. So we're all self-taught liars. And when you lie, you feel like, oh, if I just say this is not true, then people are going to go, well, that's not very strong, is it? So I'm going to have to say this is completely not true. This is fully false. This is absolutely ridiculous. And we strengthen it up, and people feel that when they lie, then the more we put into that lie, the more we deny things, or the more we say something's completely over the top, we believe that's the most likely to be believed, because we're bad liars and we've never been taught how to lie properly. But if you go and spend some time with people who have been taught how to lie, so for example, someone's got a dad that's a scam artist or a really bad criminal and brings you up in that here's how to tell a good lie, son. They will tell their lies in a very different way. You want to get someone who's good at crisis PR, get a liar. A good liar, someone
like,
who can actually.
But why not someone like you who could create a statement that is truthful? I guess. Like, even though I know what you're saying, you have to lie, but you also need some truth behind it, because people like, I analyze everything now because of you. With Garth Brooks, you were incredible on Cheryl McCollum's show on Zone 7 because, and I was so excited to hear that because I was like, I thought this was bullshit. I thought that was bullshit, but I needed to hear from, an expert like you. So it's like, why do people not get this?
Because, Frank, we spend so much of our lives telling the truth. We might feel like we're being lied to all the time, but the biggest lie we hear is a lie of omission. It's much easier to do the Courtney Clenney thing, which is "and then," or "we ended up arguing," and not have to make up a story that's full of lies and things that didn't happen, because that's hard work and we're not very good at it. So I'm not saying we hear the truth all the time. We get a lot of omission, a lot of, from the government down to the person next door. They're all telling you things and leaving large chunks of the truth out. But what we don't hear very often are lies. Black is white, white is black. We don't hear that sort of lies. So we're just not very good at telling them. And we tend to overdo it when we tell them, partly because it's really important. When you tell a lie of any importance, it's really important that you're believed. It's really important to Courtney Clenney that we believed she was scared, which is why she says, I was scared. And then she says, was it God? She invokes God. I can't remember the exact word she uses, but she brings God into it to really convince us. And that all is actually, it's an indication that someone is telling a lie.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's really helpful to hear you break down some of what she said, because it's true. You can tell, I guess, a lay ear can tell she's lying, but it's hard to explain exactly why.
Yeah.
Right? Like yeah.
This is not a plug, but if you go and look at any of my YouTube episodes, one of the most common comments that I get is someone saying, "Oh my God, I thought this person was at it. I thought they were a complete liar." And you've managed to put into words why I felt that way. We have an inbuilt protection mechanism, I think, from lies, where we don't smell smoke and go, "I smell smoke. That means there must be a fire. Run." We smell smoke and run because we've got an inbuilt protection mechanism. I think it's something similar there. We all know people who put us on edge because we don't think they're being truthful. We just don't feel we're getting the full story, or they're saying lies to us. But sometimes we just can't verbalize or rationalize it. Even worse is we rationalize ourselves out of it and go, "Oh, do you know what, Jack? This guy's actually," give him the benefit of the doubt, like he hasn't really done anything. Be a nice person. Don't be that horrible, judgmental person you're being. When actually we should probably trust our gut instinct around liars a little bit more. We're very good at spotting them.
Yeah. And just really quickly, because I have you, I know I always bring this back around to Karen Reed, but did you watch The Dateline by any chance?
Oh, yes, I did. You ain't going to like what I'm going to say, though.
No, I think I know what you're going to say. But one thing for me that I took away from that is I think that relationship ran its course. Is all based on everything. And then same with the Vanity Fair article. When I was reading that and parallel with the Dateline, I was kind of like, okay, this is no longer about John O'Keefe when it comes to anything that, you know what I mean? Like anything that I guess PR that Karen's doing, it's all about the trial and getting her off. And I just felt like that relationship was finished. That's how I felt. But
the one thing, not to cause any controversy, is that her description on the ABC show that she did, was it
2020 is ABC? 2020.
She's told the story now a couple of times about what happened that night watching John walk to the house. And there's a couple of discrepancies. The one thing I noticed was one time she tells it he goes to the side door. Another time she tells it he went to the front door. And there's a couple of other things like that where I'm like, did you really see this?
I think she doesn't remember that. I think she doesn't, that part, I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's when she's sitting in the car in the front of 34 Fairview. And I don't think she remembered exactly which way he went in at all. I totally agree with you on that. But guys, if you have not checked out Jack's channel at Never a Truer Word videos, you have to. I mean, I know you go live a lot on Sundays on the weekends. Is that?
Yeah, every Sunday you'll get a new episode. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So everybody, I have it in the episode notes. Check him out. I always learn so much. And now I analyze husband and wife birthday posts more than anything on Instagram and on Facebook because of you.
Nice.
Yep, I really do. But thank you so much. I'm going to harass you again I love these coffee lives. They're so much fun, and I'm at my best in the morning. So hopefully you're at your best in the afternoon. But
you wouldn't want to do one morning my time, which is when I'm at my best. That would be middle of the night for you.
Oh yeah, no, that would be when I'm at my worst. All right. Thank you so much. You are the best. I will talk to you soon, Jack. Okay.
Thank you for having me again. It's been fun.
Thanks, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow Jack as well. See you later. That 9